Those are all bulldozers modified from tanks by the Americans. They intend to level every fortification and bunker on the 188th Division's positions, leaving our soldiers with nowhere to take cover. Hua, go. Report to the command. Tell them to open fire. 1-to-1 barrage from large caliber heavy artillery would solve everything. Why don't you go then? The 188th has no shells, and possible the enemy is bombing supplies can't get through. Every shell is worth a life. The 288th Division has to hold the line at all costs.
Let's face the bird. I am Ubin Cheng, as a weapons expert who returned from overseas. I'm used to viewing war through theory. Data is everything. I love my country deeply. And because of that, I must face war with greater rationality, national income comparisons, the gap in steel production, the disparity in artillery numbers. These figures show 100-fold difference in industrial power. Waging war with such a gap will only lead to catastrophic casualties. The odds of winning are slim to none, pitting rifles against planes and tanks. It's like a 3-year-old challenging a professional boxer.
Why is not fought only on the ground? Air supremacy is the deciding factor for success on the battlefield. Most carrier-based aircraft can take off hundreds of kilometers away, and after completing their strikes on ground targets, they can fly back in time for afternoon tea. This is what modern warfare looks like.
Mr. Wu, then why did you return to China?
My answer was firm.
Dedicate my lifelong learning to securing lasting peace for my country. Mr. Wu.
Looking at the present, where is this peace you speak of going to come from? As of today, Wu's forces are massing near the 38th parallel. Once the 38th parallel is breached, Pyongyang will likely fall. Pyongyang is just 160 kilometers as the crow flies from the Yalu River. How long would it take for U.S. armored units to reach the Chinese border? They would arrive in half a day. If that were to happen, our entire border region would be completely exposed to enemy fire. The Northeast, our nation's only heavy industrial base, would be right under their wings. It would all be over in an instant.
You're right. But it's only a hypothesis.
Was it a hypothesis when they bombed and killed our civilians? Their warships are blockading the Taiwan Strait. Is preventing China's reunification just a hypothesis? If the hope for peace rests solely on the hope that the enemy won't fire, can that even be called hope?
You still haven't answered my question. On what grounds do you believe you can win a war against the U.S. military? Mr. Wu, because only through victory.
Can the Chinese people survive? It was only then that I truly understood we have no retreat only by fighting bravely. Can the Chinese people find a path to survival in this life and death struggle? Premier Zhou led us on a mission to the Soviet Union. We entered the Kharkiv tank factory with the war imminent. We had to secure the support of our Soviet big brother. Gazing at those formidable new tanks, my eyes were filled with envy and longing. I firmly believed that one day China would build tanks of its own. Before Stalin, Premier Zhou clearly stated our requirements, but Stalin was reluctant to assist, even viewing our resistance as an exercise in futility. He claimed they needed 3 months to prepare, but our battle plans could not wait. Chairman Mao acted decisively, ordering a cable to Premier Zhou. Even without Soviet support, China sent its troops regardless.
Our forces prepared to cross the Yalu River, resist U.S. aggression, and aid Korea defend our homeland.
Though I didn't support sending troops at first, but seeing my country under threat, with the invaders' iron heels closing in, I could not just stand by. I resolutely joined the ranks of the volunteers, working on weapon assessment to collect combat data. I went to the front lines where the soldiers greeted me with applause. Their passion deeply moved me. I then asked them to share any shortcomings of these weapons, because only by understanding their real flaws could I truly improve them.
You've made too few of them. Does that count as a problem?
It is indeed a problem, but there will be more soon.
Believe me, that bazooka is a good piece of kit, but beyond 30 meters, the trajectory starts to drift.
Fire tightness issue. I knew we couldn't use pitted steel and recycled fuses.
Expertise grenades always veer off when thrown. But it's fine now. We've overcome that.
These are prototypes. The cloth tail is meant to guide its flight.
But our domestic fabric isn't up to standard yet. What I'm curious about is...
How is it fine now? How did you overcome it?
To hit the mark, we just throw them at close range. How close?
10 meters anti-tank grenade. The blast radius is 20 meters. You threw it from 10 meters and survived. I need real data, don't brag to me.
Bragging my foot, it wasn't me.
It wasn't you. Then who called him over?
I was pinned down by machine gun fire then. The squad leader grabbed the grenade and charged up.
Call him over. Squad leader Wang Shunsheng, a native of Guangdong, while attacking enemy tanks in the battle at Linqing River.
He fell hearing this. I was struck with a sense of loss, and could only bow my head solemnly, writing 4 words in my notebook.
Close quarter bomb tossing. Very good. Like men possessed, with the mount it weighs over 100 pounds. If a single soldier within a range of 30 meters could drag it over in just a minute, that would be ideal.
This cannon has a direct range of over 300 meters.
Why close him to 30 meters? We're going to train. We can't even afford to fire real shells during training. To make every shot count, we must get close, and then even closer. We have too few shells. If you don't scavenge them, we'll have nothing left to use.
In the eyes of these soldiers, these weapons were more precious than their own lives, because only by preserving them could there be any hope of victory. Action.
Expert, may I have one of your wild fruits?
I looked at the fruit on the table, which had been specifically reserved for my nutrition, making them a rare luxury on the battlefield. I carefully placed them into their hands, one by one, remembering how I had arrogantly lectured them on digging trenches when I first arrived. Now, with deep respect, I held the bowl with both hands and offered the fruit to everyone. They are the ones who truly deserve them. But the moment was short-lived. I was still lost in thought about the weapon improvements discussed with the soldiers, but war grants no respite. The UN forces suddenly launched a heavy assault. A shell slammed down instantly, shattering the silence of the position. The soldiers immediately seized their weapons and rushed to the front with absolute resolve, as if life and death no longer mattered. I followed the troops and rushed toward the battlefield, marching at the very front. I wanted to see the UN forces' ferocious offensive with my own eyes, and exactly what new weapons they were using. Just then, I saw that young soldier dragging his wounded body, driven by an unwavering conviction. Step by step, he charged toward the enemy tanks. Suddenly, bullets struck him, and he tumbled into a trench. Yet he didn't give up his will, pushed him to crawl forward. Just like his squad leader, he performed a close-quarter bomb toss and made the ultimate sacrifice. This time, I witnessed it with my own eyes. In that moment, I finally understood. The young soldier wasn't boasting just like his squad leader. He was a true hero, fearless and brave.
Just like his squad leader.
But the enemy's offensive showed no sign of slowing down. The soldiers tried to lure the tanks toward pre-dug pits, while others blew up the ground to create a screen of dust and debris, hoping to trap the tanks in the pits. But the US tanks were completely unfazed. This also exposed our fatal weakness, a total lack of heavy weaponry. The US sent in waves of bulldozers modified from tanks to ruthlessly level the defensive fortifications we had dug, intending to launch a final charge, wipe out all our remaining resistance.
These are all bulldozers modified from tanks. They intend to level every single fortification and bunker in the 188th Division sector, leaving our soldiers with nowhere to hide.
I immediately told my guard to request heavy artillery fire from headquarters to turn the tide of this battle. But when I turned around, I found him standing there frozen.
Why haven't you gone yet? The 188th Division has no shells impossible. The enemy's bombing has cut off the supply lines, and every single shell is paid for with a life. The 188th Division must hold the line at all costs.
This means we have no reinforcements and must rely solely on our soldiers to block the enemy's onslaught with their own flesh and blood. In this moment, all my expertise and my status as a returned expert felt utterly hollow and powerless. This is the starkest reality of the battlefield's cruelty. Facing the enemy's relentless assault, we were forced back to our final line of defense. Our soldiers used their wits to lure enemy tanks into pre-arranged traps. From the trenches at the command scores of oil drums went rolling down the hillside, smashing directly into the tanks. The soldiers triggered the detonators and flames erupted toward the sky, finally dealing a devastating blow to the enemy. To capitalize on this hard-won advantage, we resolved to never retreat again. It's time to counterattack.
Flying thunder cannons aim for the lights.
Zhiying, Taiyuan, the Flying Thunder cannons are ready. We've packed all the high-energy explosives from the U.S. duds into the Flying Thunder cannon charges.
It's time to watch for the signal flame. I am the Great Wall.
Bugle call for the charge rings out. I watched as my comrades, like fearless warriors, hurled themselves into the charge against the enemy tanks.
That's where my home is. I'm Ren Subei from Lintao, Gansu, from Jiuzhuo, Henan.
Give him hell! Give him hell! Kill!
Driven by unwavering conviction, after a night of brutal fighting, we successfully repelled the American assault and recaptured position no one. Gazing at the captured U.S. tank before me, I felt a mix of exhilaration and trepidation. I was desperate to drive it back to camp, to uncover the secrets of this steel behemoth. There, driving it away, pursuit. However, the U.S. forces weren't about to let it go. They were in hot pursuit. They immediately swung their guns around and opened fire on us.
My guys are gone. I can't see anything. Steer to the right.
Just then, my guard, Zhiying took over as my eyes, with the U.S. tanks closing in Shaoheng, made a decisive adjustment, and with the tank precisely aimed, a shell roared out. It scored a direct hit, completely obliterating an enemy tank. But in that same instant, the enemy fired back. Shrapnel tore through the armor and struck Zhang Xiao, and during the agony, he managed to fire one final shot, blowing another enemy tank to pieces. Unaware of how gravely Xiaoheng was wounded, I was still caught up in the thrill, cheering over our prize.
Xiaoheng, you did it amazing.
Only when I saw his reflection in the periscope did I realize he was already lying in a pool of blood.
Swallow. Yes, I will find your brother. I'll help him become a tanker. Tell him that you took out 2 tanks today. Oh.
At this moment, looking at the advanced tank, I had dreamed of day and night. I felt no joy at all. Elsewhere on the battlefield, after 12 days of brutal combat, the 63rd Army had repelled wave after wave of enemy attacks. Yet the U.S. forces, refusing to give up, continued their assault on the Iron Triangle. By now, Li Xiang was the last man standing in the 1st Battalion. He gathered all the remaining explosives for one final desperate stand.
This is Li Xiang.
Li Xiang, this is Fu Zhongsun.
Commander.
Listen, the floodgates of Tochuan Reservoir are open. The enemy will soon be submerged.
The holy mission is now.
No matter how many are left, bring the 1st Battalion back to me.
Yeah. Li Xiang, Commander Li Xiang is here.
We aren't coming back. The 1st Battalion has fallen. You all must keep moving forward.
Reporting to Commander.
The 187th and 188th Divisions, south of Taiwan, in Liangchuan and Jiaotai Mountain, have tenaciously withstood the offensive of the powerful U.S. military. They smashed the enemy's attempt to capture Taiwan and cut off our retreat. Taiwan has become a strategic stronghold today.
The 63rd Army. Every man is a fierce warrior.
Following the suggestion of a Zhiying commander of the 188th Division, all heavy artillery and ammunition mobilized by the 63rd Army overcame many difficulties and finally reached the front line. Soldiers quickly deployed all the heavy artillery in a line, launching a massive bombardment against the U.S. camp.
It's our artillery.
Go, go, go. After 12 days of tenacious resistance, all the soldiers of our 63rd Army have completely crushed the offensive of the U.S. steel torrent. That same month, the enemy initiated armistice negotiations. Their heroic and fearless spirit, the Chinese People's Volunteers secured a resounding victory, fighting the foreign aggressors until they were forced to stop. On the battlefield where the smoke has finally cleared, we not only defended every inch of our motherlands and showed the world the indomitable backbone of the Chinese nation,